Good afternoon, Dr. Perry, members of executive leadership, faculty, staff, family, and fellow students. Thank you all for taking the time to join us for our annual Student Senate presentation. My name is Natasha, and I've had the great privilege of serving as Student Senate President for the last 2 years. Today, we are excited to share the work we've been doing, the impact we've made this semester, and how we continue to advocate for you, our student body. Our goal has always been simple: to listen, to lead, and to create meaningful change on campus. One of the most rewarding parts about being a member of Student Senate is seeing the changes we propose come to life across campus. For example, meeting with Chef Tim and then seeing the updates made to the dining menu, as well as seeing improvements to our residence hall lounge, has been incredibly meaningful. These are some of my favorite things to highlight, along with the nest, during campus tours. Thank you, Dr. Perry and members of executive leadership, for your continued support, collaboration, and commitment to turning student voices into real change. Today, we'll be sharing not just the changes we want to see, but the changes that you, the students of Manor College, have expressed will elevate your student experience. I have truly been impressed with the members of Senate this year. Early on, I shared with them the stages of group development that I learned in my group dynamics class: forming, storming, norming, performing, and adjourning. I've had the opportunity to watch this team grow, collaborate, implement their ideas, and step confidently into their roles as leaders, not only within Senate, but across campus. I'm excited to see how Student Senate will continue to rise and improve campus life for years to come. Without further ado, I would like to introduce to you your 2025-2026 Student Senate members. From left to right, we have myself, Natasha, as President, Brandy Torres, Vice President, Alexandra Rebitz, Events Coordinator, Shayna Jones, Treasurer, and Alexandra Simmons, Senator. Wait. Our presentation includes several key initiatives aimed at enhancing the overall student experience. These include addition of study pods in the library to support focus and collaborative learning, updates to classroom spaces with motivational elements to create a more engaging environment, and one of our favorite topics, improvements to athletics, and enhancements to the resident hall kitchens to better meet the needs of students. Please enjoy the presentation. As Ali said, we'll answer any questions at the end, and I will begin our presentation discussing one of our key initiatives, study pods. Optimizing learning environments. So what are study pods and why the need for them? Study pods are sound-reduced spaces that allow students to focus or attend virtual meetings. It will also help address the limited quiet space on campus. So we surveyed students and we asked them how useful would study pods be to them. A majority said that having study pods would be either extremely useful or very useful. We also asked the top uses for the study pods, and that would include individual studying, tutoring or exam prep, following group work, or online meetings. We also asked students which features matter to them the most. The top features that students found vital included sound reduction, charging outlets, table space, and/or a whiteboard. We also did an interactive survey in the library, and some student feedback we got was, I understand the library is a shared space for everyone, regardless whether they are doing work, but having a designated area/room where people could reserve for a quieter workspace to get work done would be beneficial. Another student said, since the library is small and loud, it would be nice to have a quiet place to study for exams. So some single pod suggestions I found was the Vitro Space XS, and that comes to $9,300. We also have the Framery One Compact, that's $7,500, and then we have On the QT, which our competitor at Penn State Abington has, and that comes about $13,130. For group pods, we have the Vitro Space M+, that's $25,500, the Air 3, $30,150, and the Air 25, which will be $38,058. So the benefits or the features that these pods offer is soundproofing, ventilation in case of fire, USB outlets, and it helps create quiet focus spaces for individual groups and studying, and all pods are customizable as well. For the larger pods, furniture such as table and seating is typically not included and would need to be paid for separately, while the single pods, the work surface is usually included. Seating may depend on the vendor. For example, the Vitro Space and the Orange Box might require additional purchasing of a stool separately, while the Framery one includes seating. So potential spots of where the study pods could go, either where the current study carrels are or at the entrance as shown in this mock-up that's shown in Empower 2030. The pods are delivered prefabricated and they're installed by the vendor. A single pod typically plugs into a standard outlet, while larger pods may require an electrician during installation. And then the pods are also movable as well, so if we need to change the layout, it'll be easy to move around. Managing pod usage. Most universities use simple systems like reservations and time limits. This ensures fair access without requiring staff oversight to monitor. And some other options could include student workers to assist with oversight. The goal is keeping the system fair, simple, and low maintenance. Okay, Alex.
Hello everyone, my name is Alexandra Simmons and I'm the Senator on Student Senate. So I'll be talking about Inspiring Success Classroom Motivational Wall. Motivational posters in Manor College and in classrooms can help a student's perspective on life and college. A student can feel more motivated, or if having a bad day, can read an encouraging message and feel better. Reasons why motivational posters in classrooms are great for students. Motivational posters improve student engagement and reduce anxiety, increases involvement and fosters a growth mindset, 15% reduction in disruptive behavior, and 18% increase in positive moods. From the American Psychological Association. Reasons why motivational posters are great for students. Classrooms can feel more lively and bright, fun feeling of optimism and confidence, motivation to finish assignments mid and late semester, overall mood change throughout the day. And we asked students if they would like more motivational posters in the classrooms, and we got 85%, so it's a good amount of students that would like to see some more appealing aesthetics in the classrooms. And here are some examples from allposters.com. And I also did some research on pricing. So the poster 1 will be $35, poster 2 and 3 will be $23.
Hi, I'm Alex Rebitz. I'm the event coordinator.
And I'm Brandy Torres, the Vice President of the Student Senate, and we're going to be talking about expanding athletics, and especially with baseball equipment and facilities on campus. As you may know, our spring sports are very successful. They've not only brought home multiple ESAC championships in the past few years, but have made multiple tournament appearances as well. But we think it's time for our spring sports to get some of the love as well. Our baseball team has not only doubled in size within the last year, but we have brought people in from all over the world. We have a player from the Bahamas, players from Mexico, players from Virginia, and we're looking to continue growing that melting pot that we have. However, the season has come with a few obstacles because of the lack of resources and facilities on campus. Sometimes our players end up having to take drives about 30 minutes just to get a few reps of practice in, or even cross the street to Alverthorpe, hope that Penn State Abington isn't practicing, just to get a few swings in their cages. which is why we're looking to add some cages onto the campus.
Like Brandy said, currently we don't have any baseball facilities on campus, so we would love to add to that. First, we'd like to add batting cages. Those would cost around $900 each. We also like to get portable mounds to go with them to allow for our pitchers to practice inside them, which would cost around $1,650 each. And then we'll also like to add a pitching machine to help with batting practice, which would cost $5,250. We surveyed our players. All of our players said that they'll at least use the facilities 4 to 5 days a week, and 83% said that they'll use the facilities 6 to 7 days a week.
Like I said earlier, our team has doubled in size within the past year, and we're looking to continue growing what we have here. However, that does come with its issues as well. In the fall, we do morning workouts 4 times a week, and we end up in a very crowded fitness center that does not fit our whole team, as well as in not having the adequate equipment for us to get the full workout that we need. This is why we're looking for crunch fitness passes for the baseball team. It'll cost about $10 per player, and with the estimated team size for next year, it'll be $250 a month throughout the season. This will not only allow us to get our workouts in quicker, which allows us to prepare for classes, but it will allow us to get the full workout we need to hit bombs.
Finally, we'd like to add a multi-use facility. This won't just be used for baseball, this will be used for all our outdoor teams, like soccer and flag football. The purpose of this is that during winter time and rainy days, which we've been having a lot of issues with this as a team, we would still have practice instead of just canceling it all together or have a small, ineffective practice. This also has the benefit of being able to rent to outside teams. For example, like our gym, we rent it to outside teams to make money off of it. For the cost, it costs around $20 to $25 per square foot.
Hello, I am Shayna Jones, the treasurer of the Student Senate, and today I will be talking about enhancing residents' living by adding access to stoves and ovens in the residence hall. Now, we did survey a total of 23 residents, and as you can see, over 65% has said that they do not often use the kitchen, and it shows that most students want to cook, but they feel limited because of the current kitchen setups within the residence halls. And this low usage likely reflects of the lack of equipment, convenience, or accessibility, not the lack of interest. Another question that we asked is if they feel as though there should be a stove on all the resident hall floors. And over 91% has said that they do believe there should be a stove on all floors. And it shows the overwhelming support for expanding cooking access. Students clearly see stoves/ovens as essential for better resident living. Another question that we asked is if they prefer electric stoves or gas stoves, and over 61% has said that they prefer electric stoves, which makes sense because the current stove that we have on the first floor is an electric stove. And not to mention, electric stoves are safer and easier to implement into the residence halls, and that the student preference aligns with the campus safety standards currently. Now, I did research a total of 6 different stove options. The 3 that I have shown right now are from Home Depot. First one is the Hotpoint 24 electric coil range, which has coil burners, which is low maintenance and easier to replace. And its compact size fits small dorm kitchens, and it comes to $759. The second one is the Burner Element electric range stove, which is known for its durability and low cost. It's simple controls, and it's easier to clean and repair, and it comes to a total of $569. And then the last one on this one is the Summit 24 electric coil range. It has space-saving and cost-efficient, designed for apartments, dorms, and small kitchens, and its low energy usage, which falls to $655. And the last 3 that I researched were commercial grade stoves, the first one being the Royal RRE 6208. This has a simple analog controls and reduces misuse and makes it easier for anyone to implement, operate, and it has easy to clean stainless steels, and it helps RAs and facilities keep kitchen sanitary. And it falls to $5,090. The next one is the Garland SS 686 and is built for institutional environments like schools, so it handles high traffic well. And its sealed burners reduces spills, smoke, and fire alarm triggers, which has been an ongoing issue. And it falls to $8,152. And then the last one is the Thor Kitchen 36-inch glass. Has a smooth glass cooktop, minimizes open flames and exposed coils. And it improves student safety. Its flat surface makes cleaning fast, reducing mess in shared kitchens, and it falls to $4,099. Now, after meeting with Fireman Chris from Station 29 in Albany, I found the best actions to take care of the current ventilation issues is to add exhaust for stoves, ventilation hoods that can be used to travel air from the inside of the kitchen to outside. And I did look at a current ventilation hood on Amazon, which provides long-term protection for campus facilities, and it has touchscreen controls, which are simple for students to use and hard to break the knobs, and it falls to $237.48. Now, our current layouts in the residence halls, as you can see, is our first floor is the only one that has a stove currently, and then our second and third floor are only has air fryers currently. Now, some layout ideas that I did come up with was we can use our original layout that was already shown on the Manor website. The next one is our competitor Penn State's, which is known for its chic, elegant look. And then the last one, we can most definitely probably just copy and paste our current kitchen floor layout from the first floor up to the third floor. And the next one would be the common request from our residents. They are requesting to see pots, pans, utensils, toasters, and even more air fryers within the kitchens. Now, this shows that students aren't just asking to see stoves, but they're looking for other things that they can use in place of it, instead of just asking for functional kitchens, but to support real cooking. Now, these are some options that I did get from students themselves. A lot of students prefer basket air fryers, which I found one from Walmart for $44.99, and then one on Amazon for $49.97. And then again, they did want to see more pots and pans and utensils, so I did find two options from QVC. One includes a baking pan because currently the students do not like the baking pan right now because they have been heavily used right now and they do need a replacement. And that is all. We are opening up to questions now.
So this is a question maybe a little bit off topic, but like, do you have any suggestions how we could get more student engagement when we have all these different speakers come? You know, for example, here we had a speaker the other week, she was wonderful. How we could make that, more, I guess, possible for them to, be part of that engagement.
I like going to as many events as I can, but the biggest thing is having people know early. Like, there's a lot of events that I wanted to go to that I didn't end up going because I didn't know in time and I had plans for that day already. So I would say let people know early, and especially on the social media apps, it'll probably get popularity up for the event.
Also, another thing that I would recommend is currently another ongoing issue about students not attending events is because the timing of them, a lot of students do tend to have class during certain events as well. So that is an also issue that we could probably manage upon.
Great presentation, you guys, and great methodology too. As someone who does surveys and stuff like that, I love it. I had a question about the motivational wall or walls. You had, some sample posters up. Did you have a vision, or did you hear the students have a vision for that? That's something that we can make our own instead of like posters that we buy. These are things that we, quotes that we have, whether it's staff, students, kind of make your own blank space, or, what specifically kind of would you envision it looking like, really?
Great question, Miriam. I didn't really think of that, to maybe have an event, maybe we can make our own posters. So I think that would be a good idea. Instead of having to buy them, it would be more engaging for students to actually make their own posters and kind of put their own inspiration into the art that they make for their classrooms.
Good afternoon. Great presentation. I just want to follow up on the motivational things, posters in a classroom. From K through 12, I come from that space, special education, emotional support classrooms, where students are underserved. They need to see that motivation. And so in those classrooms, and studies from me being that actual frontline classroom teacher, and then being director of the teaching programs, where students, if they are coming in maybe not feeling engaged or just need something. And also when Eleanor and I were working together with the Manor College Experience class, that there's studies that will show that if a student will doze off or daydream and see something on the wall in their classroom with some space, 90% of the time they will absorb and start to, act upon that and demonstrate those behaviors. So amazing. I'm so happy you guys did that, because there is, sound data that will help.
I'm glad that you guys want to cook. It's a good thing. Have you guys thought about, once you get all those items, some of the items, you could probably get some fairies to go to the store and find them for you. Some are more bigger campaigns, but once you get the items that you need, have you guys thought about doing some nutritional classes in the dorm, or meal prepping? So once you leave college, you tend to be poor, so you gotta learn how to stretch your rice and chicken and all that good stuff. Have you guys thought about that in your planning?
I would say definitely the meal prep suggestion is definitely a big thing, especially because a lot of the male residents are on the baseball team. So a lot of them do talk about wanting to meal prep a lot, I would say. But I absolutely do love the idea of having nutrition classes in the dorms. I personally love to cook. I have cooked a good amount of times this year. And I would say we could possibly even make an event for an RA, to have an RA plan an event to have. But yes, an RA could plan an event to have those type of events to bring out more students, and that would definitely up the student engagement within the dorms, because that is currently an issue as well.
Plus the nutrition, you build those skills in college.
Absolutely.
So, when I was your age, which wasn't exactly yesterday, I had a vision of a library. And the vision of the library was built around, my experience about how you use the library, what research meant, what information searching looked like at the time. And so the libraries that I encountered when I was an undergrad had lots and lots of shelves of books, had these really fascinating indexes where you could actually start looking at bits of information, by reading through pages and pages of indexes and finding, oh, there's a reference here. Let's go find out something. it was a bit more laborious. And I'm thinking about, what is your vision, your collective ideas about what a library looks like, and what kind of a library would be useful to you guys right now? And think about, to some degree, is our current library a useful library in your vision?
Before coming to Manor College, I had no idea how to use a library. That wasn't until I met Professor Morrison, and now that I know what a true library should look like and what you should be able to find in one, I feel like ours has a lot of room for growth. We need a lot more first-hand sources in here. We need more maps here. Things that you can't find on the internet, we need it here.
It was a great presentation. And just as a follow-up to your conversation about nutritional education, there are two supermarkets that are very, very close to the campus, Giant and Acme. And I know that Giant Supermarket has large meeting spaces and dietitians who they pay to be on their staff. And they used to do free workshops for community on all kinds of things. You know, they used to do nutrition workshops, and it didn't cost any money. And it might be worth following up with both Acme and Giant, letting them know who you are, asking them, could you all get on the Manor van and come over one night and have a nutrition program? And maybe they would do a series with you. And it might not cost you anything, and they would give you samples, and it could be kind of fun.
If you do go to Giant, make sure you use my phone number for the gas points. I have a quick... Stop it right now. I have a quick question though. Who's cleaning up after the cooking's done? Somebody's got to ask. Somebody had to put it out there, okay? No. Are there dishwashers on the floor? Yeah. No.
That's a real question.
Great question, I would definitely say, but no, unfortunately, we do not have dishwashers on our current kitchens, which I truly do believe that we should. But as far as going as who would be cleaning it, as I would say, we are all adults in the dorms. We should be able to clean after ourselves, but at the same time, we do have our A's who should be able to check and make sure the kitchen is in order in case somebody else wants to come into the kitchen and cook for themselves.
She interviewed yesterday.
Yeah, so about the Giant idea, I think that idea is great because we didn't present about this, but we have been talking about working with Giant. Since Giant's right over there, it would be a great way to connect for our students, since obviously if they want to do cooking, they can go to Giant and shop, and then they can obviously use the workshops to learn about cooking and meal prepping.
The number is 266.
Any other questions? Great presentation. These are all great. My question is about the baseball net things. I'm not a sports person, but I was just wondering, are they consolidatable, to put together, and where are you storing them when they're not in use? And do we have space for all of that?
So typically for a batting cage, it's going to be out there. Whether it rains or storm, it's going to be out there, and it should be able to hold its own. But in terms of the pitching machine, that can get put in the shed. What was the other question?
How will everything fit in there with that machine
Oh,
sitting in
and
there?
where should we put it?
Yeah.
In terms of finding a place to put it, definitely wouldn't say near the dorms. I'd say there's a parking lot. Yeah, past the library, and then there's an open space behind it. I feel like us hitting 24/7 wouldn't disturb anybody there, because at the end of the day, hitting balls back and forth, it's gonna get pretty loud, and some people may get annoyed from it in the dorms. But yeah, I feel like that would be a good spot to put it, and it'll be out there whether it rains or storms.
And it's like fine to be out there, like it won't rust and you need a new one in 5 years?
It's just nets, really. So it's just a bunch of nets and poles holding it.
Good afternoon. My name is Shelly Johnson, new finance guy here. I want to thank you guys for your presentation. It was really good. And just thinking from like a capital budget project initiative perspective, it'd be good to work with you guys on some of these things because we're exploring, our capital budget needs. So it'll be good to have that dialogue directly so we can figure out, the best way to move forward. So thank you.
The pitching machine, how fast will it pitch?
Depending on which one we get, like a hack attack will get up there. You can get a hack attack throwing 100 miles per hour, but I'm confident that the Manor boys can hit anything that the pitching machine can throw.
What's our insurance on?
So, first of all, thank you all so much. You're amazing, and I want you to know how proud of you we are. So, so I want to go through it all with you. The pods are a great idea, and if we can try to find a pathway to include them in our Manor 2030 campaign, which there is already some physical creative around that, then that could be possible. So that's going to be maybe donor dependent, but I really do love those ideas. And the motivational posters, that should really be a no-brainer for us. That's something we should absolutely be doing. And I think that the idea of own made is great, but also would encourage you to work with our marketing office, because that's the kind of thing where we can brand it, we can work with our students to come up with the right things to say and the right ways to say it. Because I agree with the other sentiments in the room and the scientific evidence as showing that there's definitely positive influence that occurs in the mind as a result of those kinds of things. So kudos for coming up with that concept. On the ball cages and the machines, I don't know why we wouldn't do it with the cages because they seem pretty affordable. Machines a little bit more. But you heard it from the CFOs, so maybe that's a possibility. With the cages, a quick question there, and that is to make them more durable. I have seen sometimes where they are made out of a black-coated chain link fence. Is that just as workable from your perspective or something to explore? Instead of a net, yeah. So in other words, what they do is they create the same shape. It's a completely enclosed box, but instead of it being out of a soft net, it's made with a chain link fence, and then it just lasts, 30, 50 years.
Yeah, I've seen this before. I know at Showingham Little League, one of our local little leagues, they have metal cage. They do have metal cages there that I have used before. I would say they work pretty much the same. I think the only difference is the ball bounces around in the cage, and that obviously it's metal, so it'd be a lot more, I think, more expensive. But I think the benefit would that be, it's obviously gonna last much longer than a net, because the net could rip here and there. But the cage is gonna last pretty much a very long time.
Yeah, I feel like it would also be convenient now that you say it. Because Roslyn, where we end up playing a couple of our games now, they have the chain batting cages, the chain link fence batting cages, and it also has a little waiting room where instead of having guys just bunch around a cage where a ball could hit them, you just be behind that fence and be safe.
That's great. I've seen them where they've had net inside of cage to address the bounce around issue too. So that's some stuff I think we need to explore. And the Crunch Fitness Center, we used to do that, and then we moved away from it when we built our own, and I think there was the pandemic in between and that kind of thing. But certainly we can explore that.
a warehouse for a multi-use facility. I don't know, well, that's something we gotta maybe put on the back burner for the moment. But it's a great idea, I really do love it. So it's all about finding the right donors. So if you know anybody with big bucks, then bring them to us. Bring them to Tom and his giant phone number, and we'll talk about that more. On the ovens and stoves and that kind of thing, we actually had stoves on all 3 floors at one point, but then the municipality made us take them out because the cost for the exhaust fans in terms of putting them through the ceiling and then out the side walls was exorbitant. It was completely prohibitive. So I don't know, we now have new leadership in the area of facilities, so maybe that's something we can look at again as well. On the question that you were asked about by Mr. Krebs about the library and sort of what you envision it to really be in its most optimal form, the answer that you gave was predominantly things that you can't find online, which I really found interesting, like, hard copy maps. My daughter relies upon the GPS on her phone getting around, but when I got her a car, I got her a big atlas book, and she looked at me like I had 3 heads. And she's about your age, she's 21. And she's like, "Dad, I got a GPS." And I'm like, "Yeah, but if it doesn't work, you're gonna need a map." And she did one of those tilt your head to the side things, but I was like, "You'll see, one day you're gonna need it." So she hasn't needed it yet, but I'm sure she will, because that's what dads do. So what are the other things that you're not finding online that you need in the library? And I want you to expand your thinking beyond just the information, the data that you hope to receive here, and think about it conceptually in terms of what would you like it to look like if it were different than what it is now?
Well, I did have a note about paying for the study pods. So if we have an educational contract, such as E&I, Cooperative Services, CoStar's, Sourcewell, or Omni Partners, it could potentially reduce the cost. I'm not quite sure if we have any of those educational contracts. But, what was the other part of the question?
It was sort of what more are you looking for from a data collection perspective, the maps and other things you'd like to see here? And also what you'd like the physical space to look like in terms of how you put a vision for the future?
In terms of what it could look like, definitely like how public libraries, like the Abington Library, I like the way their space looks like, because there's a lot of different areas where you could go sit and then, or reserve a room for a private space. So things like that. In terms of the physical, I'm not quite sure. Yes, Professor Simmons?
Yeah, just to follow up what you said, I think it's great that you looked at Abington Library. Have you guys looked at any other college libraries? Like, have you gone to any of the community or Temple's library? I think, because you might not know the answer to Dr. Perry's question, and it's a really good question. So I think part of what might be really helpful is if you take a road trip, get on that, before you go to the Giant, use Thompson's number, go to do some college visits. They would love to have you, I'm sure. And you could get a feel for what do other libraries do. They may be bigger, you might not be able to do it exactly here, but I think it would really expand the menu of what you know could be possible in a layout of a college library. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. That's actually where the idea for the study pods came from, because I was visiting Penn State Abington's campus, and they had on the QT. So, but they have theirs all around campus, not just in one space.
In terms of growing the library, I feel like that's definitely a topic we should touch on in the next presentation, get some feedback from the students, and see what our library is missing in terms of the student voice.
Thank you all for coming. Before you leave, I just want to do a special honoring of someone who's been in Senate longer than anyone has ever been in Senate, and that's Natasha Moore. This is her third and final presentation. presentation for Manor, and I'm really going to miss her when she leaves. And we have her till December, but she'll be here for the presentation. So thank you so much. Congratulations. Everyone did a great job. I'm so proud of all of you. We'll be around if you have questions, but thank you all so much for your support. It means the world to us.